my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Ms. Yashaswini Vismaya is a seasoned research engineer in generative AI at LTI Mindtree and a proud BAGGGEL Foundation member. She has over 14 years of experience in data science and AI. Um, Apart from that, she specializes in areas like natural language processing, computer vision, automation, and she has extensively worked with large language models and, of course, recommender systems. Yashaswini holds a PhD at Reva University, focusing on machine learning for generative AI, and holds an advanced certifications from institutions like IISc and Stanford University. Apart from her achievements, she is a passionate advocate for ethical and scalable AI. She combines deep technical knowledge with strong commitment to real world impact. So now please join me in welcoming Ms. Yashaswini Vismaya to start the webinar.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Women at Work webinar, where today we are learning about AI for everyone. And thank you, Nisjai, for the wonderful introduction.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you, KDEM and BAGGGEL Foundation for organizing something as beautiful as this, catering to all the women and men as well, and trying to see that we learn the latest and the greatest that is happening in technology, also about leadership. So today I will be mainly talking about uh, AI, where we discuss what is artificial intelligence and what is the evolution of artificial intelligence over the last few years. Then we will be discussing about levels of abstraction, and we will be looking at different career roles that are available in the field of artificial intelligence. This will give a bird's eye view of what can you actually strategize and make as your career in AI. And last, I would be telling about vibe coding, where as software engineers, how one can use AI to improve their productivity and efficiency. So I'm all excited for the session, and let's begin. I hope you're able to see the screen. So when we think about artificial intelligence, we all know it's a buzzword now, but artificial intelligence is not something that just came 2 years back or 3 years back. That's been there since 1950s. There famous computer scientist John McCarthy, who introduced artificial intelligence. Basically, they were trying to see how a computer, a machine, can think like a human. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, here the intelligence is human intelligence. And when we talk about what is artificial intelligence, the machine is trying to mimic the human intelligence. That is artificial intelligence. There has been a lot of progress over the last couple years, but this is not something that just happened overnight. Since 1950, computer scientists have been working on artificial intelligence, and they have been making great strides. But why do you think artificial intelligence is booming now? Artificial intelligence. Oh, okay, let me share the screen again. Are you able to see it?
If you could just close it again and then present it again, I think it would be great.
Is it visible now?
It just shows a band of the URL, that's it.
Okay, okay. Let me figure it out. Yeah.
Okay,
Is it
no, yeah.
visible?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Thank
Oh,
you.
So we were discussing about artificial intelligence, how it has evolved over the last couple of decades. Computer at that point of time was as big as our house, and it was a mechanical device which was doing computation very fast. From there, we have come to now where we have handled computer devices and we have very good processing even in our mobile phones. So, what is it that catapulted AI to this boom? The infrastructure, that is, the availability of GPUs, the availability of TPUs, tensor processing units and general processing units, such that we will be able to do AI processing at the edge and on the cloud, and anybody has access to it, and not just a big school or an organization. So, this democratization of AI is what has led to the boom in AI. Now, talking about artificial intelligence, what did they actually want to do as part of artificial intelligence? They said, okay, a human can see. Can we make the computer see? So that led to the field of computer vision. Humans can talk, they can understand natural language. That led to the field of natural language processing. How do humans learn? Humans learn through examples. For example, if we have to teach a toddler how to differentiate between apples and mangoes, we will show some examples of apples, some examples of mangoes, and we will tell the child how they can learn what are apples and what are mangoes. So, this is what is machine learning. The machine is actually trying to learn like how a human being is learning. So there are three types of learning, the major types: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. In supervised learning, we say this is an apple and this is a mango. So there is a lot of data and we give labels to it. So basically, somebody is supervising the learning. Somebody is trying to teach it to the machine. So when we see here, supervised learning has data and labels. Unsupervised learning has a lot of data and the machine tries to see patterns by itself. Tries to understand the pattern, identifies the pattern and makes meaning out of these patterns. Then coming to reinforcement learning, there is a reward for a deed that the robot or an AI does. So when the machine does something that is good, reaching to the goal, the environment will reward it, and this reward mechanism is trying to teach the machine what is the right thing to do. This is called reinforcement learning because we are reinforcing the correct action. There is exploitation and exploration in reinforcement learning, where in exploration, the machine will try various stuff that is there in the environment, and in exploitation, it will see which is giving it maximum rewards and try to do the same action again and again to maximize the reward. Next, moving on to deep learning, this the computer scientists thought, okay, there is a human brain that is able to do all these things. How will it be if we mimic it? So they try to mimic the biology of the human brain. So the human brain consists of millions of neurons. These tiny cells, neurons, have electrical charge and they get activated in the brain. And this firing of neurons causes intelligence. So that is how the human brain works. The computer scientists thought, okay, let us have a collection of neurons and the computer can learn from it using these neurons. So that um, led to the development of neural networks, where it's a collection of networks, an input layer, a hidden layer, and an output layer, and the data flows through these network of neurons, and the machine makes sense out of it. There are multiple architectures of these neural networks, like convolution neural network, recurrent neural network, and these form different learning mechanisms as part of deep learning. Now we saw about AI, ML, DL, and NN. All these form a part of discriminative AI. Now, coming to the latest evolution over the last 2 years, and that is generative AI, let us look at some important fundamental terms with respect to this. What is natural language processing? See, I'm talking in English and you're able to understand. If I talk in Kannada, you'll be able to understand Kannada. So that is natural language, the language in which human beings talk. Scientists thought, how will it be if a computer can understand it? Earlier, we had to interact with a computer using commands, using code like Python, C, C++, C Sharp, Java. Then they thought, how will it be if the computer were to understand human language? If it were to understand what people are telling in their layman terms. So that is how the natural language processing subject came in, and they started training the models based on a lot of human conversation like books, websites, blogs, natural language. The main pivot in this natural language processing was the evolution of transformers. When transformers came into picture, there was a sudden spike in how the generative AI took off and how the natural language processing came to everyone. The main difference between discriminative AI and generative AI is that in generative AI, the computer started creating images, audio, video, and text. And when the computer started generating these, it gave a lot of power to human beings to augment their tasks using generative AI. The crux of the generative AI models were large language models. How did these large language models learn? They scraped all the data in the web, digital data. It could be books, it could be website, it could be news articles, blogs, and any of the digital platforms that we have, and it learned. It learned a human language, the reasoning from all of this data that it could scrape from the web. These large language models have a lot of potential in terms of understanding what the human beings have to say and execute tasks for them. Now, we have the large language models, they know things, but we need somebody to actually do it. Actuators. That is when the agent AI paradigm came, where it uses the large language models, gains access to tools, has particular goals, has the ability to plan and reason and execute these plans. Thus, agent AI is what is there in 2024 and 2025, and we are seeing a good evolution in terms of agent AI. So, just to revise this, it is AI, ML, AI, artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning, DL, deep learning, NN, neural networks, NLP, natural language processing, transformers, generative AI, large language model, agent AI. Um, Now I will switch to the next day. Nishchay, are you able to see a car picture?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, yes, yeah.
okay. Now we all know about AI, and we would like to know about how we can use AI in our everyday life. I would like to give an example of a car. A mechanical engineer, as a scientist, understands the car as a petrol engine, as the laws of thermodynamics, as how pressure and temperature behave, and designs the engine. Whereas a person who is a mechanic, who is a car mechanic, does not need to know the laws of thermodynamics and can just know how the different parts of the car work, and if something is not working, how to fix it. Whereas a driver sees it at a different level of abstraction and sees the car as just accelerator, brake, clutch, gears, and wheels, and a fuel that is required to drive the car. And the driver is capable of driving in any condition. It could be mountains or city roads or the highways. Here, this is a very important concept called levels of abstraction. Now, I will use these levels of abstraction and try to tell in at what level of abstraction we can learn AI and apply that to different career roles such that we can pivot to those roles. So, in order to pivot to role, we need to know what is it that the role entails. Are you able to see the flow chart now, or should I share it again?
Yeah, we can see the flow chart now.
Yes. Now, based on, do we want to build AI? If we want to build AI, we again have two bifurcation. Do you want to build AI or deploy AI? If we want to build AI, that is create AI, then the role of an AI developer is there. These AI developers have skills such as they know advanced mathematics, programming, ML frameworks, machine learning frameworks. They will know how to develop the AI applications, and they will have the knowledge of the model development. This is the role of an AI developer. Now, who is a machine learning engineer? A machine learning engineer is somebody who can deploy the AI. The key skills of a machine learning engineer are system architecture, model deployment, that is on various infrastructures, performance optimization, and different cloud platforms where the deployment can happen. Now, if somebody is interested to focus on research and innovation, they can take up the role in research scientist. That is, having the key skills of advanced mathematics, research methods, the knowledge of neural networks, and how to do algorithms, algorithm design techniques. If somebody is keen about innovation, then they have the roles of senior research scientist, where they can have innovative leadership, research direction, advanced AI theory, and publication track record, that is, having publication in major conferences and journals. Now, if we have to look at domain experts, that is, you have some knowledge about a particular domain, like manufacturing domain, a marketing domain, and you want to pivot into AI. So you can pivot if you have the domain expertise as a domain analyst. The skills that you would need is the domain expertise first, and how you would apply this to the AI space, that is the applied AI space, the industry knowledge, and the problem analysis. Now, if you have the domain expertise, you have a lot of years, like a decade or 2 decades of experience in a particular domain, and you want to create AI solutions for that domain, then you're an AI solution specialist. You'll know about solution architecture, the AI integration, what are the industry standards in that domain, and how can you customize AI for that particular domain. Now, we all know that artificial intelligence has been making great strides, and impacting the society like never before. But we need to have guardrails for AI, and we need to see how AI can be useful to the human beings and not cause harm to the human beings. In that scenario, we come across ethics and policy, what we call as responsible AI and AI governance. So, the roles of an AI ethics analyst exist where the key skills are knowing about ethical frameworks, doing an impact assessment, risk analysis, and developing guidelines for the development of AI and the deployment of AI. There is also a role of an ethics program manager who takes care of the policies, which are the important policies across nation, across different domains. What are the governance capabilities that one should have, and the stakeholder management and the compliance that the organization has to do as per the AI ethics. Now, if you are a leader and you want to prefer and you want to go for strategy or transformation using AI, there is a lot of scope in terms of strategy. That is an AI strategy consultant who will have skills such as business strategy, AI planning, change management, ROI analysis. And if somebody is keen about transformation of their organization by using AI, then the role of an AI program director with the key skills of program management, AI implementation, team leadership, and strategic vision will fall into place. So, this is something that I wanted to tell about the various artificial intelligence roles that have come now in terms of how we can learn AI and apply AI. I would like to tell about vibe coding, how AI can be applied for the workforce at the workplace. So, we have all heard about this notion that AI will take away the jobs, AI will replace human beings. But fear not, AI is not doing any of that. In fact, we have the privilege of understanding the AI and augmenting our workflow using AI. For example, software engineers used to do a lot of coding, and now vibe coding has come into picture where we use prompts, we use the generative AI, we create, say, we want to create a login form. And instead of doing the entire website coding, the form coding, using C sharp and all of that, and any of the front end stack, we can just ask the AI, create a login form with dark mode support. So the AI will generate the code for us. Then we can refine it. This is called human in loop, where we refine what the AI gives. And we say, okay, this is how it is. We can improve it in this way, and we can validate if it is done the right thing. And then we get the final code, which is ready for integration. And thus, this is a very simple example of how a software engineer can use AI to augment their everyday workflow. So, today in this session, we saw about the basics of artificial intelligence, the entire gamut: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, transformers, generative AI, large language models, and agent AI. We saw how we can learn at different levels of abstraction. Not everybody needs to know advanced mathematics, not everybody needs to know coding, not everybody needs to know how to actually do a model development. We saw the different career roles that are there in artificial intelligence domain, whether you could be a leader, you could be a researcher, you could be a data scientist, you could be an AI scientist, we saw different roles that have come up in the domain of artificial intelligence, and we also saw how domain experts can leverage on artificial intelligence and move ahead in their career as strategic consultants and drive AI adoption at their enterprise. And we saw one particular example of how AI is augmenting the workforce and not replacing the humans, but enabling them to be quicker and more efficient and to do work that is more valuable. So, this is from me, and I'm open to any questions from the audience.
Firstly, thank you so much, Yashaswini, for taking time to share your journey and insights. And again, yeah, let's just wait for the Q&As to come up. I would request the audience, if you have any questions, please put it on the Q&A.
There could be questions on how to pivot into AI, how to learn AI. If you're already into AI, then what is the latest that is happening, like Agent AI, MCP, A2A, and how can an educator leverage on whatever AI innovation that is happening? So I'm open to all sorts of questions.
There's one question in the chat. What role we would be looking for it on AI for senior data engineers?
Yes. As data engineers, you will have extensive knowledge about infra, and you will have how you can actually put the data on the infra and try to, it's basically comes under deployment, right? So even for AI, once the model is built, we need to deploy it, and the data that is required for training and the data that is required for testing and all of that will reside on the cloud or on on-prem databases. So a data engineer role also is very important in the AI space because it involves a lot of data, and it's required for training, it's required for testing, and at inference, the model deployment happens on cloud.
Right? We have the second question. How can any of these roles fit in the HR domain?
Yes, as a HR specialist, there are two ways of looking at AI. The first one is how can you use AI for HR? That is, whatever task you're doing every day as an HR specialist, how do you automate those tasks using AI? How do you leverage on AI and augment your everyday work with AI? That's one way of looking at AI. The second way of looking at AI is how can you learn about AI and try to get into roles where you need to hire folks who have AI knowledge, and they cater to different AI roles that we discussed. And how do you specialize in those recruitment and talent development, learning and development of those AI roles? So these are two ways in which an HR professional can look at AI. One way is to improve their own work using AI. The other way is to gain knowledge of AI and try to develop talent and learning mechanisms for human who are learning AI.
The next question is, where can one apply AI in job search or any use cases for daily usage?
Okay, now we all know that when we talk about resume, when we talk about job search, the first thing that comes to our mind is resumes, right? So we all create our resume, and for each job description that is out there, we tailor the resume as per the job description. Now, if you want to use AI for your job search, all you have to do is use one of the large language models and then get this job description that you are trying to apply for, get the resume that you are using, and give it to the large language model and try to ask it to give you a resume that is tailored for this particular job description. Also, what are the skills that is needed? You can get those skills and get an action plan to develop those skills. And also, you can give your resume and try to ask the large language model how it can actually give you in a star method, situation method, the task action result method, such that what is the impact that you created for that particular task in that situation. So that way you will be able to create resumes that are crafted as per your experience and the job description that they are actually looking for.
Perfect. There's another question from Amrita Jayakrishnan. Could you please recommend the best courses and certification in Gen AI, Agentic AI for senior leaders?
Okay. To be agnostic of any of the organizations that are offering certifications, I would like to say uh, to think in terms of the level of abstraction. As a leader, you will be looking at a very bird's eye view of AI, what AI is capable of, and how the enterprise can leverage on this and strategize into jumping into AI and being a leader in AI. At this point of time, you do not need to know how exactly a model is developed, what is the mathematics behind it, and what is the nitty-gritties of the coding that is there. This high level view of AI, there are different courses that are available from deep learning, from Coursera, which you can learn. These are generally titled AI for everyone. There's also Google certification, Google certified Google Cloud Leader, AI Cloud Leader. So you can go over that certification. There are a lot of courses which just tell this high level view of AI, which will enable you to understand AI, what it does, what it is capable of, such that you can drive strategy.
Perfect. There's another question from Rupashri. Could you share a few examples of how HR and AI can go in hand in hand? I think this is with respect to bias detection, all of that sorts.
Yes, that's a very important point when we talk about bias detection, right? As human beings, it is natural for human beings to have bias. So, what happens when we feed this data from the society that's around us, and when we train the model learns the biases that the human is having, and it takes the decisions having this bias, which is wrong. So, first of all, humans shouldn't be having biases. Now, the data that we are feeding has some inherent bias in that, and the machine is learning those biases, which it should not. As an HR, when you are using an artificial intelligence module for, say, selection, there could be racial bias, there could be gender bias, it could be bias based on age, bias based on geography. All these things have to be eradicated, and one should have bias mitigation techniques. So there are tools like AI Fairness 360, wherein you give the data set and you see how biased is the data set, how biased is the model, how can you mitigate the bias at the training stage, at the model deployment stage, and at the inference stage.
I think that was well answered. I mean, there are three more questions. If you're okay with that, I'll just read out the last three questions.
Yes, please go
So
ahead.
there's a question from Leah Vinod. There are so many AI tools available now. How to identify which one suits best for any specific domain or organization.
Okay. So we all know that anything in software we have open source and something for which there is we need to pay for it. The first way to go for is something that is open source and to support open source. The reason is the quality of open source tools will be very high. And secondly, you will get it free of cost. And by supporting open source, by using open source, you are enabling the development of open source tools. The second way to look at it is, do those tools actually do what you want to do? Are they able to do what you want to do? That is the second way to look at it. And what is the ease of using them? Say you want to look at 10 tools and see which tool is the best to do it. Maybe what we say as the human computer interface. What is the human computer interface that is there? Is it a chat? Is it menu based? Is it giving you a certain options and then you have to give an option in that? Or you can describe what you want and it will understand what you want and give what is required. And what is the mode of output? Does it give you code, or does it give you a document, or does it give you the artifact that you are trying to get? And what is the level of the artifact that you are trying to get? Is it completely done, or does it do half and give you, or does it give you a percentage of it and give you so that you can refine on it? These are some of the characteristics based on which you can evaluate the tools and decide which tool that you have to use. Also, you can think about vendor lock-in. That is, if you use a particular tool, is there some way in which they're trying to lock you in for that tool? And the next time you want to use, you have to pay for it. It should not be like you need a trial version and then you have to pay for it. So these are some of the considerations that you can think about when you are picking a tool for your particular AI task.
Awesome. One more question from Asha. In terms of application code security, how can AI help us here?
Can you please repeat that? Related to application?
Application code security.
Application code security. Okay.
Yes.
Which AI tools to use for that?
Uh, just a open-ended question. How can AI help us here?
Okay. See, when it comes to security, right, we know that any code for that matter will have security threats and risks. But with the advent of AI, the development has been so much that we are getting new models every day. And these models, they have formed something called red teaming. And before the model gets deployed and is open to laymen and for everybody to use it, they undergo a lot of testing. The initial few models which came up didn't have it, but now there are red teams in each of the organizations who are developing the models and deploying them, and they undergo a lot of scrutiny even before it comes for the common people. So this is something that has been taken care of them. And when we talk about security threats, the threats and risks are always there. And in fact, at this point of time, the role of cybersecurity professionals is of utmost importance because of whatever the new developments are happening, the new threats are coming. So the new solutions have to come and new mechanisms to prevent these threats and to come out, fail safe mechanisms to come out of these risks that are posed by these AI models have to be taken care. So it's just the way AI is getting developed. With AI, the risks and the threats are coming up because of which the cybersecurity professionals are always on the edge and trying to have new mechanisms and solutions to eradicate these threats.
Thank you. One last question with respect of time. It's from an anonymous attendee. How easy, how easy is a career switch into AI? I am sure AI space has a lot of job openings. Should I be looking at learning skills that are in demand or specialize in AI skills that go well with the skills and strengths that I already have and look to strengthen my profile? It's a long question.
Yeah, but the answer is very simple. Do not leave away the experience that you have. Always believe that as human beings, we are a lot more capable than a machine. Yes, artificial intelligence is amazing. Artificial intelligence rocks. I totally agree with that. The kind of stuff it does is simply amazing. But always, we as humans have immense potential, and the domain expertise that we come with is something that those LLMs will not have. And the knowledge that we have about the inner working in an organization and how things are happening over the last few decades, LLM cannot have that. And if you are already having a very strong industry profile, just look at how you can augment your profile using AI and try to build certain capabilities and skills which will enhance your profile and not replace your profile. So your experience is really important and your domain expertise is very important. Your leadership experience, strategy experience that is there over the last few decades is something a machine cannot learn overnight. So please go with it and do not leave that and just because everybody is moving into AI, it doesn't mean that we need to leave whatever our domain expertise is and move into AI. Learning about AI is important. Learning about what AI can do, how to leverage AI, how to augment our profile with AI is important. But to think that AI will replace us is not the right way.
Perfect. Yeah. Uh, in that regards, and with respect of time, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up and making this session interactive. And I thank again Yashaswini for taking the time to share our journey and insights. So, on behalf of KDEM, Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, we are truly grateful for your presence and the thoughtful perspectives you brought to the conversations today. And yeah, apart from that, it was grounded, relatable, and inspiring. And we're certain it resonated with many in the audience. And the way you answered the questions made real sense to everybody. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you continued impact in your line of work. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kedam. Thank you, BAGGGEL Foundation, for coming up with this series. Thank you, Nisjai.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.